Oh my goodness, we are live. We are ready. It's all coming together. EE Conquest is setting off. The adventure has started. I am so excited to have you here. We have our guests already here. We have people already commenting in the comment section. So yeah, I'm so excited for this to kick off, and let's just get ourselves started. So yeah, I'm reminding myself to breathe. I can't believe I have to breathe the whole way through the next 12 hours. So I need to pace myself, I need to get myself sorted. But yeah, I'm just so excited and so grateful for the whole Empathetic Educators community for being part of this and allowing this all to happen. So let's just kick off with letting you know a little bit behind the scenes and what's actually going on for this whole day of learning. So we have a little booklet that goes along with this, a little guide that you can find at bit.ly/EE Conquest guide. Or you can find out the resources. So you can take part obviously on YouTube, which many people are commenting on, but you can also find out all the sessions, all the recorded sessions at bit.ly/EE Conquest 2021. And we also are supporting Youth Line. So a lot of Empathetic Educators' mission is supporting mental health, making people mentally healthy. And Youth Line in New Zealand is all about that. So that's what one of our projects is. And this session is actually part of GEG, APAC across the session as well. So really excited to have all those people involved too. So you can find out all those links in this visual. And that means that we are ready to get some of our guests on. So I'm going to get some of our first guests on the screen. Let me just find them. We have Fiona joining us and we have Stephen joining us. Woohoo! Oh, just let me know. Hello.
Kia ora.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Naomi.
Hello. Kia ora, kia ora. So good morning. So really excited to have you on the show today. And obviously we're all innovators. So really hearing about our innovation and hearing what makes us tick and everything too. So as part of our first session, just a little introduction. Some of us have been creating our flames. So as part of the little visual that people have, we have missions that you can complete, so your character and your flame as well. So what ignites you, what fuels you. So you might have created a little flame, or you might just have something in your brain you want to share with us. So let us know a little bit about you and introduce yourself. Fiona, do you want to go first?
Thank you. Kia ora koutou, ko Fiona Grant tōku ingoa, no tāmaki makaurau ahau, he kairuruku ahau o Manaia Kalani, ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. My name's Fiona Grant, and I'm currently supporting schools in the Manaia Kalani community of learning here in Auckland, New Zealand. In April 2011, I attended the first Google Innovator Academy to be held in Sydney, which was really exciting for us down here in New Zealand. And then from maybe 2015, I co-led the Google Educator Group New Zealand here for a few years and had the opportunity to present at the GEG Summit at Google in Singapore, where I met the awesome Stephen there. That's good time, Stephen.
Yeah.
In 2012, I had the privilege, so that was shortly after my Innovator Academy, I had the privilege of joining the Manaia Kalani community of schools. And it's a group of schools who are grappling with some challenges, especially around equity and access, so that our young people have the same opportunities for that third millennium citizenship as everyone else. And so they were really brave in 2012 and went one-to-one across the schools from year 5 to year 13. And for that, the past 10 years, my role has been to support teachers and learners to harness the affordances of the digital technologies, not only to accelerate learning, but widen the options for how we learn. And critical to this role has been the development of our cyber smart learning. And being cyber smart, that's embedded into our Manaia Kalani goals, and it supports our Learn, Create, Share pedagogy, and it aims to empower our learners as connected citizens. And today we are supporting over 100 schools around New Zealand who have chosen to connect with the goals of our program. Thank you.
So you have a lot to keep your time going, Fiona. A lot of a lot of getting involved. But what I love as well is like before I joined the Innovator program in Singapore, you actually told me about Stephen, and it's so cool like to have you both in the show and you know each other, and like the whole point of this is like connecting the world, and it's just so cool to have that as well. So yeah, so Stephen, let us know a little bit about yourself.
All right, everyone. Good morning. This is Stephen from Jakarta, Indonesia. It's 4:30 a.m. in the morning, I'm so excited. Don't worry. But I mean, like, my name is Stephen. I joined Innovator 8 years ago in Philippines, Manila, Philippines, Southeast Asia cohort. Is there anyone here?
Let us know in the chat.
Yeah. So right after that, I started the Google Educator group in Indonesia back then in 2014, and I was a social studies school teacher. When I first joined, I felt like I was not ready to start anything, but well, here am I, and I would like to say that after that journey, I actually now decided to do a full-time training job as a lead coach and helping Ministry of Education in Indonesia currently. And it's so exciting because right now Indonesia are entering, very massive digital transformation journey together with a lot of public school teacher, and I'm helping the teachers to really do what we have done so far. And I still remember when we met Naomi in 2019, right? It's like 2 years ago, and Fiona as well. That moment really changed my life, and I really want to pass it on to many Indonesian educators because the spirit is there, and we want to amplify everyone's voice, and that's the beauty of when everyone step up together. And that's actually my show introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And like you say, like it's so cool to have the world coming together, and like that's what really empowered me as well as part of Innovators is education can be so exciting, and like we can be part of this and we can come together and face the challenges together. Yeah. So that's it's cool to have that that space as well. So it's so crazy to have all people involved as well. So we have like Becky coming on from America. We have Dr. Harvest coming on saying hello, and from Kia ora from New Zealand as well. So yeah, so many cool people, and the chat's going off, so connecting on there too. So thank you so much for all getting involved. And so we'll start off our question with, so what does innovation mean to you, and how has your innovator journey impacted your life throughout the past while that you've been being part of it as well? So yeah, Fiona, why don't we start with you yourself? What do you think?
Okay, so huge big questions for Friday morning. So it's really for me about being solutions focused, and so I'm not just thinking about when I'm thinking about being innovative or participating in innovative projects. Of course, we want to help people, we want to improve, what's happening, but importantly at the back, I'm always thinking about how is this empowering individuals and communities. So when I'm thinking about innovation projects, are they empowering others to also innovate and create? Because at the end of the day, you're not always going to be here. You want people to be able to be independent and to be able to, step up themselves. So when I think about the process, it's truly collaborative. It brings together individuals and the ideas and the skills and the planning, and it creates something new, but it's really a collaborative process. For me, it's whatever I've been involved in, it's never been in a vacuum or in isolation. I think about initial inspirations of ideas and the projects, and then I'm always straight away thinking, who can I collaborate with? Who's going to help me with this? And my journey, I really believe that my journey has been a product of my environment, and the people that I've connected with. I've been really privileged to be part of an innovative community for the past 10 years, and a lot of inspiring people who have a really clear vision for the future and what they want, but they also know that the shift and change is truly a partnership. So they're looking to partner with community, with whānau, with family, with businesses, to problem solve and innovate. And I think that's really rubbed. I think probably I always had that. That was always somewhere in the back of my mind. But the last 10 years, that's really come to the fore, being part of such an inspirational community. And you can't help but be inspired, when you're surrounded by people like that. And so I think that when I think about it, I think I've always been on this pathway to where I am right now. Like, I was meant to be here doing what I'm doing right now. I might not have known that 20 years ago, but I've focused for the past 20 years on just building really strong connections, stepping up. You do have to step up and put yourself out there. And I think when educators started harnessing the online networks, I remember when we first started using blogs to connect with other educators, and then Twitter came along, and then it just, erupted from there. But it was also important for us to put ourselves out there so people could see, connect with us. And also really to lifting others, recognising the value and the success of others around me. That's probably too what inspires me the most as well. Thank you.
Love it. I think it's so cool. I think obviously I'm being part of the Manai Clanning, and like that's just changed my life as well. Like whenever I was working in New Zealand, being part of that community, and like you say, that clear vision, but the flexibility in the vision. So like whenever we had meetings with teachers all across New Zealand, we knew what we were working towards, but our pathways would might have got there different ways. It was flexible. You were open to learning from other people. And I think that was a big part of my takeaway from Manai Clanning was yes, we're working towards empowering our learners, but how we get there can look very different. And as long as we're open to connecting and collaborating with each other, that's such a big part of it. Yeah. So yeah, really, I've loved working. Manai Clanning, I'm yes, I love it so much. such good things. And what really inspired me as well is the fact that it is across New Zealand. It's across a full country where you're trying to make connections and learn from each other and look at the curriculum, look at the expectations and that kind of thing. And it shows that you can connect across the world. But I love what you said, the stepping up part, because that's what it takes really, is us to actually take the move and come accountability for ourselves to then collaborate with other people too. So yeah. Thank you, Fiona. Thank you. Well, yeah, Stephen, do you want to let us know what does innovation mean to you, and how has your innovator journey impacted your life and the connections to Fiona's thing too?
For me, innovation is about always questioning ourselves, whether we have dream that scare us and do something that is unpredictable. That's a question that I always ask when I enter innovation journey, because I always felt when I first joined the C14 cohort in 8 years ago, I think it's happened the same with you all guys, and I've never thought that I'm ready. I've never thought that I'm qualified enough to be using the title of innovators, because wow, that's such a huge title. But I think, how many of you agree when we feel we don't have, we don't have to wait until we are qualified enough. We don't have to wait until we are perfect and do successful to use that title, and we don't have to wait until that to do something that big, right? And if you keep waiting until we are ready, probably, well, we will never do that, right? So that's actually, if you ask me, what is your innovator journey? That's me. I'm not kind of person that wait until I'm ready. Yeah, I think, and I do believe, as an innovator, innovative people will not wait until they are ready. Just launch it, and that gives me a courage to do something that I've never thought I could do. Yeah, it scares me. We encounter a lot of situations, something like these pandemic situations, and we force ourselves to do something beyond our control. And I think for me, my innovator journey taught me to take that risk, to really step up, no matter whatever you have, no matter what quality you are doing, and just do it. Even though you are fail, you're gonna learn something, and that happened to me as well. Yeah. So if you ask me, well, my innovator journey is full of risk taking, like making things that previously impossible, but well, here we are now, just like you know me, step up and doing things, yeah, and do something so crazy. Yeah.
That's a beautiful message, and it really connects obviously what Fiona is saying about that stepping up piece too. And I think I've just written like that courage word, but whenever we were doing what I loved about the innovator process was that you had to declare your failures. Like that fail bell was like, it was like whenever you failed, you were ringing that bell and you were saying, I failed. And that's what it's about, is like taking the risk. But then understand that it might feel like today I was like, don't know what's going to happen. Don't know like what technical hiccups we're going to have. Don't know what we're going to faces we're coming through it. But like it is like it's okay to take that step. And I think it goes back to what Fiona's saying, is having that community of people around you to support you whenever you do maybe have like a failure, or whenever you do kind of have dropped the ball a little bit, supporting you around that space too. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to like, so there's things across today for empathetic educators, and it's the powers within our grasp. And this theme for this is all about challenging yourself, and that's like what you just talked about today. It's like that challenging yourself to actually take the step and take the next risk. It's people have been saying on the thing Becca said, the message is so strong for what's actually going on, because I think it's really good to share that. I think sometimes whenever people are maybe taking a risk, or maybe don't want to take that next step, sometimes they look around and they say, oh, everyone else isn't failing, everyone else looks like they're doing okay. But sharing that it is okay to fail, and everyone does have those spaces as well. And Dr. Harvey said, we're all in the boat together. Yeah, to Fiona's message, it was it's collaborating and taking that space together too. So yeah, it's so good to be able to have the collaboration space. So before we go on to the next set of innovators, any little last minute takeaways, last minute little things or connections to each other you would like to share with the GEG APAC community, or with like and beyond?
I think probably if you are thinking about applying for to attend one of the academies or the innovator projects, just go for it. It's sometimes people apply and they don't get accepted the first time, but it's really a worthwhile opportunity, because it actually makes you stop and reflect. Also, the connections that I've built up over the years through that, even right back, people that in 2011 that I met in Sydney, and I'm still in contact with and contact with regularly, provide me with that different perspective as well, so that I'm not in that kind of vacuum or feeling isolated. So, if you're thinking about it, definitely go online, go onto the Google site and check out when the next one, I think the next one coming up is going to be online. Yeah. But once we're all open again, hopefully we'll get back face to face. Thanks, Naomi.
Thank you, Fiona. Stephen, any last little words? Or
yeah, I think my simple word is starting with what you have right now. Don't wait until you have everything to get started. And sometimes the simple thing, all you need to do is just to start with what you have. I think that's all.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Great sharing. And thank you. And I think like Leslie said, good advice about like coming together, and she's actually put the link in there for how people can communicate with innovators and let people know if they have any questions as well. So thank you, Leslie, for putting that little chat in. Coming from Australia, oh my goodness, we're all over the world, which is so cool. So yeah, we're gonna let you guys, we're gonna get you off the screen, and we're gonna let our next people come on as well. So thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Fiona. So we have Judy and Bonnie coming on the screen. Oh, hello.
Hello.
And we're a little bit more of a reasonable time. Sorry, Stephen, again for your 4:30 a.m. start, but we're a little bit more reasonable time now for you people coming on, which is great. Oh, Bonnie, you're speaking, but there you go.
That's my hobby. Being on mute and talking. But yeah, it's 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm golden.
Well, 6:30 in Korea.
Well, why don't we start with the 6:30 in Korea then, Judy? Would you like to let us know a little bit more about yourself and but about your flame, what ignites your passion, what gets you what gets you excited?
Sure. Well, first of all, I better just say hello to Korean people. 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. GG 여러분들. Hello everyone, GG APEC. And also hello everyone who's joining us live. And my name is Jeongheon Judy Kim. And people just call me Googly Judy. That's me. And then I've been teaching English communicative skills and also TESOL in university for 22 years. And I'm kind of a newbie to using these Google tools. I acquired the Google Certified Educator Level 1 January 2018. But until September, I was so scared to implement the Google tools to my classroom. And I became a trainer in September, and then happened to be the very first woman trainer in Korea. And then since then, I've been training more than probably up to this year, maybe 14,000 teachers on site and then digitally too. And also my innovator journey was amazing because I was really panicking about being an innovator. But this message is for some of you who are considering applying. I wish you can just contact some of us and then see what you need to expect. Definitely, it's not easy, but as Stephen says, there are people who support you. And then actually the Naomi and the Bonnie, we are probably 1,000 miles away, but whenever I need help, I can just cry out. And also I can just actually ask for help. And that's what actually the Innovators community is about. And a little bit about myself more. I'm a Google Certified Innovator, happen to be the first woman innovator in Korea too. And also I am one of the leaders of a Google Educator group, GG Gyeonggi Korea. And also, maybe I can just share what really kind of fuels me. What fuels me and my passion is actually the potential of growth, connectivity, and influence, and also the potential to build empathy and compassion. And I have an intrinsic desire to keep seeking, learning, connecting, sharing, and interacting with others with my passion. We have to hike up the mountain before we get to the view. What I mean is there must be some work we need to get done before we get to see some changes. So those potentials drive me to invest my time and energy to create projects or training sessions to help teachers and students to grow, help them grow their mindsets and skill sets and help them to see better work and help them to be connected with the better opportunities and learning so that we all better understand the world and influence in such a positive way to make it a better place to live in. That's the impact I want my fire to have. That's about me. Thank you.
Well, that's a lot about you. It's so much in such a little short time. But I didn't realize how new you were to the and the Google space, because like you say, you're creating people so many different opportunities, people to learn about the Google tools. And did you say 40,000 people? Every time I see it, you have so many big groups and so many big things. So cool, Judy. It's such a cool space.
I guess the reason is I've been teaching, I've been training teachers for 22 years. So probably I'm more kind of an accessible person. So whenever they need to just actually do something with the digital, of course, they have a lot of resources around, but, the Asian people and Korean people especially, they don't really just open their failures and they don't usually ask questions in public. So probably that's kind of the beginning of the connection. And then after when I hear any kind of a needs, I never say no, because I also can learn by teaching others and training others. As I just confessed, I'm kind of newbies, but that's why it's been just coming up with a massive numbers. But I'm not bragging, or that doesn't mean anything. I'm still growing. And compared to these two rock stars, I still need to just to grow up and then develop more. But I'm so honored to be a part of the dedication of a Korean education, and especially online education.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I think that's the potential of people and like being part of the change as well. And I think, like you say, we're part of the hashtag SEA19, isn't that right, Bonnie? So let us know
Yeah,
a bit about you. Yeah, a bit about you.
Well, first of all, I know we're on time schedule, but that's not enough about Judy.
I know.
So like that's not enough. Like, I am lucky enough to work in the East Baton Rouge Parish school system. Very much love it. So one day when we went, like when everybody was shutting down, it's March. They had all these meetings, and everybody was meeting all the time. And somebody said, well, we should do what Korea is doing and like explain the situation. And I was like, that's Judy. And I was like, I know Judy. And she got on a meet with my district's leadership to explain what she did. But they were telling me, they're like, this is what's happening. And I was like, guys, I know this lady. And they're like, no. And I was like, she's real famous. She is for real famous. She trained 40,000 people. All right. I'm sorry. That just wasn't enough.
Fangirling here. Yeah.
I did my claim. So yeah, like I said, I work in the East Baton Rouge Parish school system as a tech facilitator. I work with teachers. I taught for like 10 years, and then I shifted, and now I work with teachers, and it's really cool. I really like the people I work with. My family, one of my words on my flame was family. My family, everybody's an educator. Like, you go on vacation and people are fussing about faculty meetings, and and I always imagine like my mom and my aunts in the back of my trainings being like, this is dumb. So I definitely like bring that mindset whenever I do stuff. But I really like have this mindset of supporting teachers, and it is what I like to do. And that's also on there. And I, like empathy, like Judy said, like putting yourself in the teacher's place. Sometimes I tell like administrators that I know, I'll be like, it's not a collective, like one teacher or two teachers have a problem. Like, it's not like such a small percentage of the school. Those are two individual crises, crises, like you can't, like, it's not a percentage. So yeah, I really like, supporting teachers. I remember at SEA 19 where I met these two ladies. It's easy when you're up because I don't have to go. Like, it wasn't until the Energizer, my project, I took a major pivot. My project it's still a problem, and I still think they need to address it, but I didn't love the problem. And you learn that. And then you got to love your problem. And it wasn't until the Energizer where I realized, I was like, it's not like the data and stuff that I love. I was like, I love the teachers. And so I kind of shifted. And then we started the Global GEG. I was one of the founders of that. And I also run our local GEG, GEG South Louisiana, which is super cool. And I'm lucky. We have tons of people on board, and we're always, able to do cool stuff. So yeah, I'm very lucky.
Well, I think you've just kind of already started about maybe we'll start with you, because you already kind of talked about like the innovation and what does your innovation journey look like. So maybe just continue on from what what it means for you. And we also have Louise saying pivot, because
Louise is involved in that.
That's a big part of the whole thing. So yeah, keep talking about kind of what it leads to you.
My journey, I had just started my specific position. We had been a Google district. We were 1-to-1, so I had taken level 1 and level 2. And all that stuff. But I hit submit on Innovator, like assuming I wouldn't get it. Like, absolutely just hit the button. It was like, didn't even tell anybody, And then I got the email. I was in Disney World, and I was like, oh my God. And then I also remember like walking in the first day and being like, I don't have any business hanging out with these people. Like everybody there was such a rock star, but they were so kind. And that was something that I really took away, was like, doesn't matter how good you are, like you should always be kind. And they were all like so supportive. And so really like now, like as a, my way of innovation and what I really like is like being creative. And like, that's just, I realize like that's my joy. In my job, I get to be creative. They're like, Bonnie, just whatever you're doing back there. I have an office all by myself. And I think that to me is like part of, my innovation journey is learning how much I love like to be creative.
And I think G-Tech Guru saying, and it relates back to what Stephen was saying as well, is like imposter syndrome is real, because that's the way I felt too. It's like, I'm applying to this, don't really know what I'm applying to, don't really know what I see this challenge in education. But I think what our commonalities, what I find as well, and even beyond just the Singapore experience, is our commonalities are coming together to like work for education, like where we want the betterment of education. We want to come together, either if you're in Jakarta like Stephen, New Zealand like Fiona, like Korea or America, and like, or in Japan, and then like we all want education to move forward, and I think that's what it is.
We have
like,
a lot of the same problems.
Yeah.
Like just because you're not in the same region, we and that's why like the global thing took off, because people in all these places had the same problem, and we were trying to help. If you help one person, you're probably helping 50.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think like Fiona said, if you step up, like it's like that stepping up piece is like just putting yourself out there a little bit, and that's what Singapore, same as me. I walked in and I was like, what am I doing here? Like, do I fit? This is like crazy. This is so exciting. What is going on? Well, how did I manage to get myself in this place? But it's like the more that you're just putting yourself out there and seeing what you can do as well. So yeah, like Judy, what's your connection to that, and what has your innovation journey been for you?
Oh, well, first I'd like to I still have this very first draft
oh
pilot.
My God.
Yes, I still have this. I mean, my Innovators project, I better just start with that. My Innovators project is called like Empathetic. And actually my Innovator project was started from the cryouts from the students. As I said, I just became the very first like a woman trainer, and then I was so excited to just train people, just to promote the using digital tools. I was the one who was actually teaching in the class environment with the paper full classes and transforming to paperless classes, and I was only just fascinated and neglected some people who have a challenge to using digitals. But second year of training, which is trainer 2019. A couple of students came up to me and said, Judy, I can't access to this, and then I have this problem. So kind of like I have some mindset that I have to actually just help not just major people, but the people who are in minority group. And then I happened to teach like a group of students who have like visual challenges. And then they just said that, because I try to be super nice. I try to just help them logging in, sitting next to them. And then they said, Judy, we need autonomy. We need autonomy in learning. Many people just assume that, we are visually challenged, that we always need someone sitting next to us. And then sometimes we have to reveal our passwords and even more. So if we can just come up with something, we can just make a shortcut to logging in and locate the files in Google Drive. And that's going to be wonderful and helpful. So I tried to seek for help, and then I contact, actually, if you're out there, thankful, I just found a Gary who was posting like a Google Innovators kind of like a project. And then I just realized that it's a little bit different from the trainer, not training, but when we face the difficulties, we just get together, ideate, and also make a prototype, running a project for about a year. So I applied for the London one, and then of course failed, right? I wasn't ready. And then after I just contact like the previous innovators and got some advice, and I just shared Google Docs with my application and asked for feedbacks, and also asked them what I need to prepare before the court. And I thought we are from all different directions and all different kind of like a global background. So I thought we didn't have anything in common. But once I was selected, my affirmative buddy, Stephanie Rustin, are you there? Yes. We were paired. And then after we were selected, and then before the court, for about 2.5 months, every single day, we did like a face chat or text chat. We tried to kind of like pivoting kind of like our issue, and also try to kind of find out alternative solutions until we beat in Singapore. And then after that, I just realized that I still need to communicate with the people in need, because I don't have visual challenges, so I cannot put myself into their shoes. So I cannot really say that I built empathy. So after the cohort came back, the cohort itself was crazy. As I said, I've been teaching in Korea, in university for 20 years. So I've been so rigid never really had a kind of like a puff night, right? We don't have it often in Korea. And also 3 days in a row from 7 a.m. until sometimes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. And then we just talk together. Sometimes we cry out together, keep talking about the empathy. And then that was a great moment too. But after I just came back, I just constantly talk to the learners with the visually challenged, their parents, and some of kind of the careless for them. And then after they try to find some technologies or apps, and then I just realized that I can just build empathy and learn from them what they need. And that made me better kind of a trainer, not only for the visually challenged people, for the students who have learning disabilities, or some older teachers who have some kind of like a tech panic. So I think the Innovators Academy and Innovators Project and people I met there really changed my perspective of teaching. Even I was in this field for 20 years. So it was just breathtaking and then life-changing. But the best part is a connection. And then meeting wonderful people and then building this global kind of a PLN, and then which is so helpful in so many ways. And sharing friendship with these wonderful rock stars and then meeting them in person, right? And that is also a great part. And also, I just got a chance to translate the book, Google Infused Classroom, written by innovators, Tanya and Holly. And that was also the great part. And so this Innovators project is still going and on the way. I face so many failures and challenges. And sometimes in Asia, if you're a woman in the field of tech, you are neglected and you are underestimated. But still, like we have a fail bell. Which keeps me going and going, and that's when
you're boosting those neglections. You're boosting through those doors each time you do more and more things through Judy. So it's so good. I think like that big thing about empathy was a big connection for me and you. Like obviously empathetic educators, and then like connecting with you about empathy, and like for me and you and Bonnie, like talking to each other about. Like, I think that what you just said there now about like the crying together part, like the actual failing together, and like someone said about feeling forward. And like that kind of thing about it's okay to be feeling like that's what like Abid said about Global GEG exists because of Innovator program, and all these people that are now in our community who were part of previous communities, and then even like whenever Fiona and Stephen, like I connect with Stephen, and then because Fiona said, "I'll watch out for him," and like connect with each other. So it's like all those different years of experience have all different things as well. So yeah, I don't want to get you off the screen. We could do one each
I know,
by ourselves. Like it's
I feel like Judy left out how many like obstacles were in her way. She had pushback on all this. It was not easy, and like I saw her like. She just kept going, and people were trying to get in her way, and I'm just saying she won. That's all.
Thank you. But you helped me a lot. You two helped me a lot.
Part of it. That's a big part of it. It's like keeping going, and but that's what happens. Like, because about the people around you, like those are the people that are going to help you. Sometimes you can doubt yourself, but if you have people around you supporting you, and like in that space too, so yeah. Well, I think we need to do a longer session when it's not part of the 12-hour project, so that we can keep going. We can keep doing more and more. But thank you so much, Bonnie. Thank you so much, Judy. I would love to hear more about your Innovator projects too. So thank you. I'm going to get Mary and Karen on the screen now. So thank you so much, and we will see you soon. Hello, Karen, and hello, Mary.
Hello. I love that you say Karen because it makes me not sound so much like a Karen right now.
Karen, yeah. I think someone asked where's Naomi from? Yeah, she's Irish. She's got an Irish accent, a little bit different, but Karen, yeah. And we got Mary as well. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
So yeah, we'll start with Karen. Can you let us know a little bit more about you and what your journey is, and a little bit more about you?
Yeah, my journey's kind of all over the place. Originally from Boise, Idaho in the US, and we're currently experiencing that like over 100-degree heat wave. I think in your language, it's like 37 degrees Celsius or something like that. Anyways, My journey was that we ended up moving to Singapore and happened to be there right when the Innovator program was slated for there. And it was kind of one of those things that, I mean, definitely the imposter syndrome for sure. I still to this day am like, they only took me because I was actually in Singapore. Like I was for sure bet, you know, like I was there. But the thing is that when I looked at the application videos, I was so overwhelmed and intimidated. I'm like, I don't know how to do video editing. Like Sethi's was amazing and everybody's. So I just did my own thing. And I'm always still a little embarrassed about it because it probably looks low level and a little sloppy, but it was the best I could do. And I think what happened was they saw that I was looking to go outside the box, that I wasn't trying to be anyone else. I didn't do a video just like somebody else's, right? Like I did my own thing. So even though it seems like the Innovator program is set for the best of the best and the, you know, the top of it, I think it's even more about becoming your best self, being a part of it. And the fact that whatever you bring, there's a spot for you. And I related so much to everything that you and Judy and Bonnie were saying, and Steph Rothstein. I know that there were many times. In fact, I told my husband I wasn't going to go back the second day. I'm like, I'm not going because I don't belong there. And it was really only because of the community and the support and the encouragement that helped me see that it wasn't about showing up with being the best, but it was showing up, bringing your best. And that's what I loved about it.
And I think it's all in your own head. Like it's like the community was so welcoming. Like everyone was just like so like open and like, but like in your own head, you're like, I can't do this. This is what this is going. This like you're trying to be, and that's why like that I totally relate to that, as like trying to be kind to yourself and trying to support yourself. And like that's going back to the stepping up part that Fiona and Stephen were talking about, is stepping up makes that you feel like you're not ready yet, but actually that stepping up part, the more you do it, the more you feel ready. So yeah, totally relate to that. So yeah. And Mary, lovely Mary, who was one of our mentors, one of our little people supporting us through the journey. Yeah, hello. Let us know a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I have been like working with Google for quite a bit of time now, more than a decade, and in my innovator journey is a little bit more convoluted. I guess I applied for the 2012 Chicago, and I got in and didn't go because it was way too far. I'm from the Philippines, so I was thinking, who am I gonna squeeze to fund this trip, because you're gonna have to fund it, put your skin in the game. And I'm so cheap that I don't really want to have to spend that much to go to the States for this one badge. That's what I was thinking it was gonna be. And then I waited until 2014, and there was a chance there where I could actually lead, and it was where I met Steven. That's where I met a lot of the other innovators, and then later on coached for the Sydney 2017, and that's really where it hit me. Honestly, there have been many challenges as well throughout the years. My challenge here in the Philippines is really getting traditional teaching to improve for the Department of Education for public school education in K-12, and I've been doing that for about 9 years now, until it really drives home that all these years, especially during the pandemic, I didn't want to say I told you so, but there have been times like that. The innovator journey has been very, very challenging for me, and imposter syndrome really set in 2017, actually, not in 2014. I just realized that energy I didn't lack, because when you go into the Innovator Academy and you see all of these amazing people, you realize that you really have to up your game, and that what you used to do, and if you think you're really awesome, you're gonna have to be awesomer, because like you get this challenge, and I think that's when your imposter syndrome sets in. But when they did, when Wendy Gordon asked me to become a coach, that's when I actually said no. I said, no, I can't coach. Like, you're kidding me. I can't coach these amazing educators. Like, what am I compared to a lot of these people? And Wendy just wanted me to share my story. And my story is really all about understanding why problems would excite me, and why you have to have a core of positivity when it comes to tackling any large problem, because any large problem can be solved so long as you can learn how to break it down into very small steps, and learning that every step doesn't really lead to a straight path. So it could be that one step that you break down might lead to more steps that branch out later on, and that's okay. So just that feeling of making sure that you have a community behind you that would say it's okay, and that you actually have a belief buddy that believes in your dream and your vision. Those are, I think, the most important takeaways of Innovator for me.
I love like the belief buddy part of it, because that's what it is. It's like sometimes you don't believe in yourself, but then connecting with someone else who creates that belief for you is actually so important as well. And like, yeah, it's such a great part of it. I think you're the same as Bonnie. Like, you kind of already talked about a little bit, what does innovation mean to you and what does the journey mean to you. So maybe a little bit more, if you want to explain a little bit more about your how the journey has impacted your life. Mary?
So the impact is like tremendous. Like if you become an innovator, your world just blows up, and and you think you're part of this small community, maybe a little bit larger community, but the innovator journey would really propel you, not necessarily to fame, but to people and connections that would help you out with a bigger dream. So if you had a small dream before and you think, okay, this dream is something that I can do, there are people around you that would tell you you can gun for more. And that is really what it's all about for me, that I can actually believe that this can happen. And that didn't really used to be possible until Innovator, right? So Innovator is just, I think, very, very unique in that aspect. The sphere of influence of the Innovator Academy has grown so much, and has grown Google as well. It's not as apparent as you would see for, say, a trainer. When you would train people, it's quite obvious. You can count the number of people that you train, but the influence of innovators, it's just tremendous. It cannot be counted. It just grows and grows. You start something small. You have a fire inside you, and you just just influence so many people. And I think that's how lovely it is as a program. I did join Google this year to continue some of the programs that I have in the Philippines. And that's really helped me a lot, because if I didn't have that innovator mindset, it would have been difficult for me to battle the challenges that I have in this country, and how to, solve a lot of the issues that we have in public sector or in public school education. Yeah.
I love it. And I think that belief buddy is just like, it's like that. It connects all the way through what you just answered as well. It's like sometimes whenever you're facing all those challenges, like it's having that connection to reach out and then be able to actually have that belief in yourself too. So no, it's Bonnie said, Mary's social media strategies have changed my life. She's the queen of project launches. So yeah, I'm the same. I reached out to you whenever I was doing things too. So I think that's what's nice. It's feeding through all the conversations is reaching out and connecting. Even if you're not part of the Innovator project yet, you can reach out and ask us about what's going on. Like Karen said about reaching out to it's like who you actually work with as well. And yeah, so I think Keisha said, Goosebumps, it's not about showing up and being the best. It's about showing up and being your best. So yeah, let us know a little bit about your innovation project so far and where it's gone to and what's happening and what you've learned.
Yeah, so my whole innovator and education journey took a hard right turn due to COVID this last spring, and landed me back in the US, landed me back into Idaho. And March isn't necessarily a great time to try to get on and find a teaching job. So I started looking at other avenues and trying to do some different things. And one of the main things is realizing that there wasn't a GEG support group in Idaho. So my best friend Paige, she's on. Hi, Paige. We're getting that going in the next few weeks. We've got like an action plan going and ideas. But what's really striking me is the fact that there's just learners everywhere. So in my current endeavors that are, outside the traditional education field, I'm realizing how being an effective educator spans more than just like the K-12 classroom. There's so many businesses and companies and people out there that were required this last year with COVID to learn all of this technology and learn how to interact online. And it was just not in their wheelhouse. So I think the idea of broadening our idea of learners and teachers and innovator and what that looks like just is where I'm at right now. So I'm taking the next year off from normal teaching, I guess I'd say. I'm signed up to teach for a class through a virtual school. But I plan to use this next year to really build a support in my area to help people along. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I think that, the takeaways of like actually going beyond it. But I think as well, the more that I do outside of teaching, the more I can bring that back into teaching too. Because like the perspectives of like the wider world and like what actually is going on, bringing that into like our actual projects as well. So yeah, it's so cool. It's such a, like Mel said, Mary, you're amazing with the fire, and like it's like and like Craig connecting to what Karen's saying about how they left teaching 4 years ago, but actually like creating something that brings into education as well is such a big part of it too. So
I'm so excited to see what I can bring back into the classroom. That it's just for 1 year. I mean, already have things set up, but just really curious what I can develop. I think of Dave Burgess in his book, Teach Like a Pirate, the idea of developing your own hobbies and your own interests. So I'm hoping to be able to take advantage of that this next year.
Yeah, and I think even though everybody, like all innovators, would probably talk about their journey in that sense, at the end of the day, when you really dig deeper into everything that the innovator would say, it's never about them. Never. It's always about the people that they want to help. It's always about the problems that they want to solve in their communities. It's always about the students that they want to teach. It's always about that. And I think that that's one of the reasons why the influence becomes so much bigger, because it's never really about you. You know, that's one thing. You become a rock star. That's true. That's a byproduct though of this. that happens more often than not. But it's a byproduct, just a byproduct. But it's not really the reason why you would go for innovator, right?
And I think like that's what Bonnie said, is like, even though this is obviously all innovators and it's about the innovator journey, it's like it transcends beyond just the Google Innovator experience. It's like actually like whenever you're teachers, like all of us are kind of like, as long as we're connecting and trying to contribute, that's like a really important part too. So it's like it goes beyond just the Google Innovator experience. It's actually about the teaching and the learning and the connections that we build beyond that as well. So yeah, I think I've realized I'm going to do a Google Innovator whenever we come back after summer, after Empathetic Educators takes a break. Google Innovator is going to do a little spotlight on each person, because this is way too short to go through all the amazing challenges and all the amazingness of all the world of all these people who are coming on. So yeah, we're going to get everyone back on the screen now, and just a little final little takeaways for us. So let me just do the background, and then we're going to get all these wonderful faces back on and say thank you to you, because I'm so happy that we've all like I said, it's way too short, like so many challenges, so many different ups and downs that we haven't been able to talk about today, but really grateful for all those little pockets of wisdom that you have shared. And maybe just before we go, I think it's just we're gonna have one last little like, what challenge do you see in the world and how you're overcoming it, but maybe just like one little word, because we don't have very much time left. So what do you hope for the future of education? And we'll go around.
I might jump in. The idea of connection showing up over and over and over and being so important, maintaining those connections through the pandemic, after the pandemic, I think will be a big challenge.
Cool. Mary?
I think the challenge is bravery for me. I know that the pandemic has spurred us all into being a little bit more brave, but we have to be braver. We have to really start, pushing the boundaries of what is possible in teaching, and not be afraid of what, failing, or not be afraid of what can go wrong.
Beautiful. Bonnie?
I think sorting through what we had to do to see what worked and what didn't, and then taking that to the next level.
Beautiful. Fiona?
For me, it's about empowering our learners and our teachers. The past year we when we so quickly went into level 4 with like a 48-hour notice, I was really proud of our teachers and our learners and our whānau and families and how they were able to transfer into the online learning, but it also highlighted what a huge gap there still is, because all things being equal, unfortunately they're not. And that equity issue is, it was there before, and it's still there now, and we can't just stand by and not do anything about it. We all have to step up. Thanks.
Judy?
Well, I hope future and also present education still kind of values, and even more values, the human-only traits like creativity, emotion, and empathy, and also fully utilize the technology. Still accessible for some fortunate people, but I hope these technology accessible for everyone and also available for everyone. That's the hope I want, and I have.
Beautiful. And Stephen?
For me, it's not about going fast, because if you want to go fast, you can go it alone. But it's about how we can actually go far, and by going together. I think that's why my message today.
Beautiful. And it's like, Check said, what do we start? What should we stop? And I think like that hope is what we all kind of like have together as well, is like together we can have hope if we keep coming and connecting too. So, oh my gosh, we had the first session and it went smoothly so far. So woohoo!
You've done such a good job. Great work. Good job.
We did. That's one down, so that's safe. That was good. That's good. That's good. And I'm going to take a little photograph of us behind the scenes all together, the chat and everything too. So let's take a little smile. People who are
the chat
behind
was
in the
great.
chat too.
All the people in the chat, they made this session too. They were great.
Cute. Yeah, the chat's part of the photograph as well. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. And like you said, this wouldn't come together unless we're all together too. So look at Judy with her glasses.
This is what I got in Innovation Academy, so.
Yes. So yeah, thank you so much for being part of it. And this will be all put into the part of it as well. So I'm just gonna share that screen again to let you know that where it's all going to be saved. So bit.ly/EE Conquest 2021. You can find out where you can sign up, and all these recordings are going to be saved on there as well. So that is the end of the thing. So more sessions like this are going to be going out on Empathetic Educators. So if you're on YouTube and you'd like to subscribe or do a little like on there, if you had some takeaways, then be part of our Empathetic Educators journey as well. So thank you. I can breathe now before the next session, and yeah, we'll go on to the next one too. So thank you so much, and that's the end of our show. Bye.
Thanks, Naomi. Fantastic.